Hello, honey, and welcome to another melodramatic episode of your favorite guilty pleasure, the Melanin Mayhem podcast, hosted by your favorite country girl, Renee Davis. Oh, honey, if this is your first time joining in on the Mayhem, boo, what took you so long? Never mind, it don't even matter. You're here now, that's all I need, but let me go on ahead and put you up on game as to what you've stumbled into. You see, Melanin Mayhem brings you the stories of some of the most diabolical, the most heinous, and the most downright audacious crimes committed by some melanated baddies that you probably never heard of before. And if you have heard of them, you haven't heard their stories of shenanigans the way I tell it. Because you see, my mission in life is to single-handedly dispel this pervasive myth in our world that there are some types of crimes that black people don't commit. Baby, that's ludicrous. Honey, let me tell you, black folks been committing serial crimes since we got here. And unfortunately, the motherfuckers that's out here doing that shit, they getting away with it because of that goddamn myth. So, if you don't believe me, just ask any one of the fine members of the New Orleans Nation. That's my crew. Ooh, my day ones and twos and threes, honey, the ones that go hard in the paint for the country girl. And I love them down real bad. Hey, sugar wookers. Ooh, I miss y'all so bad. I'm so glad to be back home. I mean, vacation is the bomb, but baby, ain't no place like home. Clicking my heels together. How y'all doing? Oh my God, did y'all miss me? I missed the hell out of y'all. Like, man, vacation, again, it's great, but nothing compares to the love and support from my boo things, honey. And I like talking to y'all like this, you know, face to face, because I really feel like y'all in the room with me, right? Anyway, oh my God, let me tell y'all, I gotta tell you, my Grecian 50th soiree was thebomb.com. The only thing that was missing was y'all. But I did a few updates on Facebook and posted some pictures or whatever, so it was kind of like y'all was there with me, you know what I'm saying? I was repping the New Orleans Nation hard in them Grecian streets. Met me some new cousins on the boat. Speaking of which, hey man, if you ain't put Virgin Voyages on your to-do list, you are sleeping on a real bop. Let me tell you, I have been ride or die with Royal Caribbean for years, baby. When I tell you, I'm like, oh boy, at Harlem Nights. Hey, put your mom on the phone. I ain't never coming back. Man, I'm telling you, them no cheering. Let me tell you, honey, that shit hits differently, man. Hey, 7 whole days like a Toni Braxton song and not a child in sight. Lord have mercy. That is life. Virgin is like the uncruise. You know, everything they do on the other cruise lines, they don't really do that shit on Virgin. I mean, they got some activities if you feel like activitying and, you know, being social or whatever. There is a casino. That bitch is tiny though. But the ship is so damn big that you can just get lost just walking around. I still don't think we saw all of that goddamn ship. The specialty restaurants, that shit is included, so you ain't got to come out of pocket for nothing if you don't want to eat in the galley. And the galley is their version of like a buffet, but it ain't a buffet. It's like a collection of eateries, like a food hall. And baby, they got everything from noodles and sushi and salad, and they got a hot bar, they got this, they got that. But they are dishing the food out to you, so you ain't got to worry about old nasty ass Karen wiping her nose or digging in her ass and then picking in food. Oh no, you ain't got to put up with none of that, baby. You can get as much as you want, but please believe it's going to be a Virgin employee that puts that shit on your plate. And I am in love with that. Ooh, honey. Let me see what else. They had specialty restaurants, and that was pretty much the same. Italian, a Mexican, a steakhouse. And then, ooh, my favorite, they had this Korean barbecue spot called Gun Bay. Oh my God. They cook the food at the table for you and get you geeked up at the same goddamn time with drinking games. Baby, they had us trying to count like to 100. Oh, it was a mess. It was a mess. Needless to say, I was drunk as a skunk. Baby, I was good and drunk. The staff on Virgin, oh my God. I think they really do love their job. You know, you can see it on their face. It was like they recruited the top-notch Chick-fil-A employees. Everybody's smiling. Everybody happy. They want to go get you some pineapple juice or a plate of chicken wings. They don't even damn care. I promise y'all. Virgin is not paying me to promote them, but y'all know I do love to look out when I can. And honey, all I can say is treat yourself, honey. But the best part of it for me, y'all, was the motherfucking melanin. I was convinced that since we were porting out of Athens, Greece, that the numbers of Wakandians was gonna be, you know, minimal at best. Baby, the country girl was wrong as fuck, because when we was pulling up, tell me why, it looked like we was on tour up in that bitch, and this was our next spot. Baby, black folks everywhere doing what the fuck we do, baby. In our t-shirts and shit, got couples, we got singles. There was even a couple of groups of single men, ladies, on this goddamn cruise. I'm just saying, I'm trying to hip you to the game now. I'm telling you, they out there. Okay. Whew. Let me tell you, I was overjoyed. It wasn't quite ATL up in that bit, but it was close. It was close. And y'all know when I don't see no black folks, I start itching. Not on this cruise, baby. We was repping from all over the world, the U.S., Europe, Germany. I mean, I even met a black couple from Australia, and I love us so much because no matter where we are from in the world, when we see Karen and Ken doing some fuck shit out there, we give each other that universal look, and it transcends borders and languages and cultures. Like, we all one. We are all one, and we all understand the look. If you haven't had a chance to look at the video I posted in the discussion group of No Rhythm Rebecca, oh yeah, please take a look. I was surrounded by my people, and we was cracking the fuck up at Liquored Up Salt Gang and all they shenanigans. I seen a white boy with Meg Thee Stallion knees, baby. Like I said, you gotta treat yourself. I swear, it's kind of like when you go black, you ain't never going back. That's how I feel about Virgin. Okay, enough about the boat. This ain't a vacation blog, but I will tell you, what the highlights of the trip. We went to Santorini. Beautiful, but for me, commercialized like a motherfucker. I had to get this chick straight who tried to juice me for one of those flying dress photo shoots. Like, really tried to play me like I ain't got internet and know what this shit costs. I just passed on it because, I got a trip to Jamaica coming up in a week with the last member of our crew that's turning 50. And my Jamaican tour operator had already hooked me up with a flying dress photo shoot. And there is a swing involved. So if I'm going to pay anybody a grip, it's going to be people that look just like me. So after chomping this hoe off, we go off and go get us some bomb ass food. And what do I see as I look out the window at the view? A cannabis sign. The weed gods smiled on me, and I got me some goodies, baby. Oh yes, in Santorini. Thank you. So our next port was Rhodes, Greece, and that for me was the best one. Rhodes was like the chef's kiss. It was scenic, lots of historical sites for us to see. They had good shopping. They had people that weren't trying to beat me out my money. I got me some local liquor that put me on my ass. I did a lot of drinking on this trip. But the best part, all of the bottles of liquor that I bought, the bottles are shaped like a dick. For me, that's a win-win. I mean, there's a lot of dick-shaped souvenirs in Greece. I got quite a few. All my friends, that's what you're getting, dicks. Moving on. Next up, we went to Bodrum, Turkey. And the driver, when we were in Rhodes, Greece, they told me that it was some shysters in Turkey. And I have to say, no lies told. Man, we damn near had to square up on a Turkish motherfucker trying to get me to spend $14,000 on some fake Louis Vuitton. Sir, I live in the United States. I can go to a flea market from coast to motherfucking coast and get these same bags. And for $14,000, I can go straight to the Louis store in Phipps Plaza and get one with all the proper paperwork that go with the real thing. I mean, all I wanted to do really in Turkey was to go get a Turkish bath. But you know what? Everything ain't for everybody. I was asking around, and all the men folks, again, these shysters trying to tell me to go here, go there. I asked one little Turkish lady, "Excuse me, ma'am, where would you go to go get you a Turkish bath?" And she hit me with the look like, bitch. Again, ladies, the look transcends too. I was like, okay, say less. We can go back to the boat now. No, sir. And come to find out, at dinner later that night, one of my white lady friends that I met on the boat, her and her husband, they went and got that shit. Now she thinks she got a flesh-eating bacteria. See, I'll just wait till I get home and hit up Jeju for a proper body scrub from a little Asian lady that get up in every crevice and crack for like $80. Not the point, but anyway. We were supposed to hit up Mykonos for our last port, but the weather was so bad that they scrapped Mykonos and they took us to Crete instead. When we first heard that we were going to Crete, it was like, ooh, lots of stuff to do there, but all of the stuff was way out. Like, I'm talking hours and hours driving. And when they took us there from the boat, they kind of like just dropped us off in the middle of a neighborhood. Like, what the fuck? But still I rise. I walked towards the sound of the water, and baby, on the way, found another cannabis shop that had some bomb ass vapes and pre-rolls. Baby, jackpot. Like, from that point on, I was high for the rest of the trip. I didn't even think I was gonna need a plane to get me back to Atlanta. I could just float there. But baby, I can say the celebration of the Virgo has been all right with me. I still got a couple of more things to do. We're going to end this thing off in Jamaica. I'm coming, y'all. My Jamaican people, I will be there. October is not my birthday, but isn't it always Virgo season? I mean, Libra, we're going to let y'all do what y'all do, but understand. Anyway, enough about me. I mean, we literally got business to tend to. This is a true crime podcast, and I just spent 10, 15 minutes giving y'all a whole tourist overview. You know what? But before we dive in, don't forget we are coming up on the last weeks for you to get your tickets to the Black True Crime Collective live show here in Atlanta. You know, the Crime Cocktails and Canvases event, October 18th. We even had a little Virgo sale for y'all last week. You know what I'm saying? Sprinkling Virgo magic out there to the listeners. And some of y'all did take advantage of those sale tickets. If you have, thank you. If you're thinking about it, thank you. If you want to do it, appreciate you. We hope to see everybody here in Atlanta, October 18th. All right. So I think that's enough church announcements. Y'all ready for this? I got a good long episode for y'all today. I know the last couple of weeks, while my mind was floating on a breeze, them episodes was kind of short. You know what I'm saying? I heard you. I heard you. But today, honey, settle in, baby, because this one is going to be long. I'm making up for the short ones, all right? And I'm still on this similar thread that I've kind of been doing over the past few weeks about crimes that are being committed, in my opinion, that are the greatest threat to us as humans going about our daily lives. And that's like the lone shooter that goes out and just fucks up the church's money. And it don't matter what type of security system you have at your house or how many degrees you got or what the law says. If a motherfucker has decided that today is the day, you can unfortunately fuck around and find out. And the story that I have for you today is another one of those kind of crimes that Black folks don't commit. Air quotes and heavy on the sarcasm because y'all been rocking with me long enough to know that that's some fugazi. But anyway, yeah, mass shootings. And again, Black folks don't supposed to do them kind of things, right? We'll shoot at somebody. Don't get it twisted. Now, we'll bust a cap in your ass. But it's usually because we had a reason to shoot at you. One person, one or two people, some people that's together, but just like on some real mass shooting type of shit, just going in and just spraying the place just because we just felt like spraying. Going ham on innocent people that ain't did nothing to us. No, that's really chicken skin people shit right there, right? But I'm the Mythbuster right in the One Nation, and I got a story that knocked my socks off because I kind of remember hearing about it, but in my mind, it was one of them raisin and the potato salad people that did it. And I was wrong as fuck. It was a whole Wakandian, and I got all the tea, honey, and we about to spill it all. The nigga I'm gonna tell you about today is one of those audacious chameleon motherfuckers. The ones that look normal and then turn out to be 50 cents short of $1. You know the type, like, as soon as they open their mouth, instantly. Ain't no need to argue with whatever the fuck they saying, because it ain't gonna matter. That type of person. And you trapped in the conversation because you fell for the okie doke that this person was, I don't know, sane. That type of shit. Well, our mayhem maker, I'm telling you, he came from a good home, had a wonderful life, and then it took a left turn to hell, and his crash out, epic. Like, it's got all the makings for a juicy ass story that's gonna blow your mind. So I ain't gonna even hold you, honey. Let's go ahead and bring this diabolical motherfucker to the front of the congregation for a proper accounting of the foolishness, fuckery, and shenanigans of his heinous crime. This week's Melanin Mayhem maker is Mr. Colin Ferguson. All right, y'all, let's go on ahead and get started. I'm so happy to be back. It's like, 2:46 in the morning. The jet lag got me going. I can't sleep. I'm just ready to record like I ain't got to be to work in the morning, but that's okay. I'm gonna be fine because you here, I'm here. We finna do what the fuck we do. I'm so glad to be back. Anyway, okay, here's what we doing. Colin Alfred Ferguson was born January 14th, 1958 to Von Herman and May Ferguson in Kingston, Jamaica, man. Yes, honey. Again, shit that ain't supposed to happen, but watch this now, watch this. Von and May, they had 4 other children, all boys. Ooh, that's a whole lot of testosterone in one house. But you know what? It wasn't an issue. The principal at Calabar High School in Kingston, he said that Colin was an average student, talkative like a motherfucker. He was athletic. He played soccer. He played cricket. And in his family, the Fergusons, they was considered upper middle class. Their name carried some weight in Kingston, right? His daddy, Mr. Vaughn, he was a pharmacist and went on to become like a managing director at some big pharmaceutical company. So in Jamaica, Colin lived a good life. I mean, his name meant something in them streets, you know what I'm saying? But unfortunately, his daddy was killed in 1978. Head-on collision. Took him on up out of here, right? And then, boom. Next thing you know, Ms. May, the mama, shortly thereafter, cancer took her out. So now the Ferguson boys are all alone, right? It really didn't go into detail on exactly how it all happened, but even though they were upper middle class financially, had a few good coins in the bank, by the time Miss Ferguson went on to be with the Lord, all the money was gone or either dwindling, you know what I'm saying? Maybe it was spent on healthcare, cancer costs. Ain't shit free, you know what I'm saying? Putting Mr. Ferguson to rest after his untimely demise, I don't know, but however, whatever, the money was gone, right? And with no money, the upper middle class lifestyle was kind of over and done with too. But again, Kingston, you still a big fish. Your name carries weight. You know what I'm saying? Colin was respected in them streets. Everywhere he went, hey, people was, what's up, my dude? Hey, Colin, off the respect of his parents, right? But now Colin them is basically brokey. And it appears that Colin, he had a hard time being poor. Now understand, when his parents died, he is an adult now, so he's in his early 20s, right? But he is, I ain't gonna say a kept boy, but mom and daddy took care of what it appears to be most of everything. And once the well started running dry, he was having a hard time dealing with that, right? But living in Jamaica and having to get it out the mud, that's not what Colin necessarily wanted to do at this stage in his life. So what he did was head for what he thought was the land of milk and honey. Oh, honey, he talking about the United States of America, to go get that American dream that he done heard so much about. Oh, Colin. Yeah, he fell through in like September 1982 by way of Miami on a visitor's visa. And a few months later, after landing in Miami, he ends up in California and he applied and got a social security number, right? And so after staying in Cali, just long enough to get his paperwork in order, he eventually ends up in New York City. And I'm just saying, for a motherfucker that ain't got no money, my boy getting around. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Well, we know that New York is a melting pot of diversity, and Colin would have found his tribe of Caribbean people without any issue, right? And I'm sure he did. You can't help but find the Caribbeans in New York, baby. They everywhere. They're plentiful. I love it. And but what I think for Colin, that what was different than his beloved homeland of Jamaica, for him, I think it was the Caucasic casserole people. I'm sure he knew of them, but in Jamaica, it was more like a, chocolate city kind of situation. And the 8.5 by 11s were merely something that one read about, mythical beings, but not a part of the everyday fabric of his life. But now that he was in New York, oh boy is getting his nigga wake up call, because the raisins and the potato salad people, they everywhere and they run everything, right? And Colin, he wasn't used to that. And to say that he had a hard time assimilating is an understatement. First and foremost, like I said, in Jamaica, Colin is a popular guy. The people knew his family name, and again, that carried weight even when the money ran out. But in New York, that didn't mean shit. All that, you know who I am kind of bullshit. It was met with, nigga, please. Who the fuck is you? Nobody. Move the fuck on. Yeah, I know New York don't give a fuck any damn way. So Colin was frustrated. he really couldn't get a good job. And the only thing that he could get was menial jobs, restaurants, tried to drive a cab. But even that in New York, trying to drive a cab is expensive as fuck. So your boy, he's still brokey. So I don't know. But even with all of this going on in his financial life, Colin manages to find him a boo honey. Motherfucker, I always know how to find that. And considering that he over here on a hope and a prayer, them green cards is looking nice. And baby, Colin indeed gets married about 4 years later after putting down roots over here. His girl, her name was Audrey Warren. And if I'm not mistaken, Audrey was of Jamaican descendant tree as well. And Colin and Audrey, they jumped the broom May 13th, 1986. Ooh, I love black love. It's a wonderful thing, right? But it's also, now that Colin is hitched to a bona fide American citizen, he can now apply for that green card, baby. Jackpot. This nigga is set for life now. Because, this was during the time when having paperwork from the government, it meant something. You know what I'm saying? Shit, homie was home free, and he ain't never have to go back to Jamaica if he ain't want to. And if he did go back to Jamaica, he could come back without a problem because he had his paperwork in order. Well, it sounds like everything gonna be great. How the fuck did he end up on Melanin Mayhem? Well, it started because it wasn't a fairy tale marriage. This nigga Colin, he's a piece of work, honey. Audrey, she tried to make it work, as we tend to do. But Colin, tripping. I mean, he was starting to turn into one of those kind of dudes where every single problem that he had, all of his shortcomings, it was somebody else's fault. And it wasn't just somebody else's fault, it was the white man's fault. And so before long, him and Audrey, they was having knockdown dragouts, and the popo was familiar with their house in Long Island and what goes on inside of it. It was kind of like Sophia and Harpo up in that bitch. And damn near 2 years later, to the day from when they got married, Audrey was like, fuck that shit. Miss Mann went and got her a whole ass divorce on May 18th, 1988. So let's see. Colin is kind of failing at assimilating to life in the U.S. Now he has failed at his marriage. And this, in my opinion, is when this nigga starts his descent into completely going off the motherfucking rails. He does get a job, though. Yeah, he gets a clerical job in Long Island. And it seems to be going well. He is working, earning a paycheck, just living regular black life in the U.S., right? That is until August 18th, 1989. Now, tell me this. This nigga fuck around and get hurt on the job. Now, what the fuck was he thinking? I don't know, but some kind of way he is trying to get something off of a shelf that's up high, and he decides that standing on a stool and reaching to get the shit was a good idea. And I guess it was a good idea until that ass slipped off the goddamn stool and fucked this shit all up, right? So now, Colin, in my head, this nigga's like my head, my neck, and my back. You know what I'm saying? Hey, a slip and fall is a slip and fall, even no matter from where you from. And falling off of a stool, bruh. And you got to think this was 89, so, they didn't have ergonomics and shit. So, he might be able to let this shit ride, right? Either way, he done fucked around and got hurt on the goddamn job. So now he files a complaint with the Workers' Comp Board in New York. But y'all know, that shit take time. And the powers that be, they got to do their investigation and all of that shit. And Colin got to go to the doctor. You know the routine before they gonna cut the check, right? Well, that's okay, because Colin got time today. So in the meantime, in between time, while he waited on his bag, Colin enrolled in school over at the Nassau Community College. And I ain't mad at him, Go enrich your mind while you wait on the coin to enrich your pocket. Go ahead, Colin, and understand to a nation. Our boy, he is not dumb or slow by a long shot. Like, Colin is a smart, intelligent man. I mean, he made the dean's list like 3-4 times in his short little stint over at NCC because of that mouth. Oh, his attitude. Oh, honey. All the way fucked up at this point. And that shit got him kicked out of the Nassau Community College. I mean, basically, Colin was running up on professors and shit trying to bring smoke. Like, nope, not today. They was not finna have you up on their campus being all aggressive and talking cash shit about really off the wall things. Again, Colin is starting to morph into, he's starting to lean more into white people are the root of all evil and must be taken out by any means necessary. And you can't be just running up on professors that are of different complexions than you with this goddamn smoke. So Nassau Community College, oh baby, they bounced your ass right on up out of there, right? And I don't know if I made it clear, but at this point, Colin is like super hater number one of the sour creamians. When I say he couldn't stand their asses, I mean this nigga was on one horde, like horde. But you gotta understand, y'all know living in New York, he is surrounded by them every day, and he was giving their ass the whole business, like. Oh, you did not want to fuck around and have an interaction with Colin. But he is still desiring knowledge. So now he enrolls at the Adelphi University in Garden City, fall semester 1990. Now, this ain't no HBCU by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, it's still a predominantly white institution, which, again, I don't understand why he would go there since he hated, and I do mean hated with a capital H, white people. Like, make it make sense. I don't understand. But let me just set the scene here because I need to let you understand exactly how much Colin despised anybody that was not melanated. I mean, because we all know some people that don't really care for the Caucasian persuasions, but this nigga here was extra. Like, oh baby, any interaction that he had with anybody of the Caucasic mountain peoples, that shit escalated. Like, there was one time he at the school library, right? The librarian was a white woman. Now, she just asked him, "Sir, can I help you with anything?" And this nigga went the fuck off on her. I mean, it was up. Got this woman clutching her pearls and trying to get away from this clearly crazy ass nigga who is being aggressive and calling her all kind of shit and telling her how she should die. I mean, just going the fuck off on her. But wait, after he goes the fuck off on her, he proceeds to make a complaint that the lady was calling him all kind of niggers with the hard ER, and he done painted this whole picture of her damn near holding a Klan rally in the fiction section. So they run the tape back, they talk to the people that was there that seen Colin doing what the fuck he doing. Adelphi, oh, they didn't toss him out, they just gave him a warning. Hey man, pipe that shit down, okay? But Colin, we're gonna find out that he is not the pipe down type. Oh, no. I mean, there was also a time one of his black professors was having a talk about, they had just came back from South Africa. Kind of like how I did today. They're just talking about the trip and everything was going fine. The professor is like showing pictures and talking about what a lovely time that she had. All of a sudden, Colin stand up in this room that's full of mostly 8.5 by 11 peoples. He gonna yell out, "Fuck all that cute shit. We should be talking about the revolution in South Africa and how to get rid of the white people." Nigga, what? Read the room. Nigga, your audience. Nigga, what? And again, as if that wasn't enough, this touched motherfucker. I mean, this militant revolutionary motherfucker started talking about, "Hey man, we need to kill everybody white," in a room full of white folk. Man, what? So understand, this is a college campus. And professors and students, they kind of expect varying views, right? But this was too much. This was too much. Like, are you really saying that? And so they really started trying to get this motherfucker to tone it down, like trying to talk some sense into him. But Colin wasn't trying to hear none of that shit. And the more they tried to calm him down, the more he just went the fuck off. And now he's just talking about, how the black revolution is gonna get you. I mean, just one of those people who believes what he believes, and there is nothing that you can say to make him not believe that shit, right? This nigga, he out to get you, but he don't understand now, bruh. Now, Adelphi, they did what they thought was best in this situation. They suspended his ass for threatening the staff and the students, right? And for me, that was a hookup in my book because they didn't toss his ass out like Nassau Community College did. They just basically put his ass in timeout for a minute. And then they told him, once timeout is over, you can come back to school. But for Colin, he went with that shit. He throwed the deuces to his college aspirations. He had enough. So what now? Colin ain't got no job. He done fucking with school. What he gonna do now? With what money, I don't know. Colin goes and rents a room in somebody's house in Brooklyn, in the BK neighborhood of Flatbush, right? And this neighborhood is a reflection more to his liking, right? It's mostly West Indian, so you know, a whole lot of melanin up in that bitch. And I'm like, okay, maybe this is good. Maybe this will calm this nigga down if he is surrounded by people who look like him everywhere he looks, right? And I mean, I get it. Y'all know, I like to be around my peoples. I start itching when I can't find my tribe. That's why I don't leave Atlanta too long, right? Shit got me spoiled, but you know, this is our shit. Let's see what happens next with our boy Colin now that he's made this move. Well, Colin. I mean, he crazy as fuck. He just don't look crazy. I mean, when you see Colin, what you see is a clean-cut and well-dressed dude that looks like he could possibly work for like Geek Squad, right? You know, khakis and a polo or a pin down, loafers and shit, right? He looked like his elevator go all the way to the top. But like I said, it's not until you start conversing with Colin that, yep, few sandwiches short of a picnic. Well, no, you know what? No, that's not true. That's not true. I'm not going to take his intelligence away from him because he was smart. He was articulate, all of that. He just really had extreme views on the races. Like, in Colin's mind, white people should never interact with black people. White people were the reason for every trouble that he had in his life. And oh yeah, he wanted all white people to be exterminated. Yeah, like I said, extreme. So the people that he lived around, including his landlord, they all said that Colin didn't bother anybody. He was quiet and he kept himself most of the time, you know? He wasn't a bother. He was not a menace. So not like our normal mayhem makers who always skulking around doing some bullshit, right? But just because he wasn't out here being messy in these streets doesn't mean that he wasn't about to be real messy in other ways. Because like later on in 1992, he starts unraveling. And I think it all started when he broke into his ex-wife's car. You remember he was married to Audrey? They done broke up. They been gone, divorced, whatever. Audrey ain't thinking about Colin. Next thing you know, her car being broken into, and she know it's this nigga who did it, right? And of course, Audrey goes and reports this nigga to the police because, nigga, ain't nobody got time to be repairing shit. You fucking with my car, right? I don't have time for this. We are divorced. Why is you bothering my shit? Colin goes to jail for that shit. Okay, now he got beef. Then in February of 92, oh, y'all, this one's bad. On the train, some poor white woman, oh my God, she made the mistake of trying to find a seat on the subway in New York and fucked around and sat down next to this nigga Colin. All she did was say, excuse me, sir, can you move over just a little bit? Because he was kind of intruding into her seat. You know, can you get me my seat right here, please? Please and thank you. She was not mean. She was not nasty. She, just Subway in New York is crowded. Can I get this seat right here? You know what I'm saying? Y'all, he went so ham on this poor woman. Like, you would have thought that she had spit on him and called him all kind of hard ER niggas. Like, he went off so fucking bad that they arrested his ass right then and there on the goddamn train. And of course, Colin didn't go quietly. Oh no, honey, he on 1,000 and then got the absolute nerve and audacity to try to get other black men that was on the train to jump in and fuck with the police in his defense. Like, he is literally quoted like saying, brothers, come help me. Help me. Nigga, what? We don't know you. It's above me now. Honey, you brought that on yourself. When this nigga gets out of jail, he starts to send letters to the police commissioner and other city officials talking about how the arrest against him was vicious and racist and how they needed to do something about this injustice. Like, this nigga is sending multiple people, multiple letters, multiple times a week, multiple phone calls to these same people. Sir, if you don't sit your ass all the fuck the way down, you was wrong. Like, man, he filed a whole ass complaint with the transit authority saying that the transit cops that arrested him had brutalized him. So, they had to do an investigation and all that shit. And of course, in this instance, the cops were doing what they had to do to detain a motherfucker that was resisting and acting a whole ass fool. And you would think that after this, that Colin would just go sit the fuck down somewhere. But oh no, not this audacious nigga here. September 1992. Baby, that little bag that he was waiting on from the Workers' Compensation Board. Oh, baby, it comes in. Whoop, whoop. Yeah, honey, when he fell out that stool. Baby, they done cut the check. And now, Colin is sitting on $26,250. Ooh, that was big money. In 1992, baby, we're talking a real piece of change. It was enough for Colin to sit the fuck down and just chill the fuck out, pay his rent and just leave a motherfucker alone. But, that's too much like right? How about 6 months later? Why is he back fucking with the workers' compensation people? He all at their offices arguing with them to reopen his workers' comp case because them little $26,000 funky dollars, it wasn't enough for his slip and fall. His neck and his back was still hurting. They needed to go back in and rework the motherfucking numbers, talk to the doctors, and cut him another check. Colin, baby, when I tell y'all he is fucking with these people, I mean, again, he is a letter writer. He is writing letters. He is calling everybody's number he got every damn day. He is doing this so much that everybody that works in the office, from the goddamn janitor to the goddamn CEO, everybody know this nigga name. And then, this was still in a time when you could just roll up in somebody's office. He would show up at the compensation board all the time. I mean, it was so much that they was calling security every time because they knew he was gonna pop off. But every time they called security on him, that just made Colin madder. And since he was being such a asshole to them about this shit, oh baby, they did indeed reopen his case and started looking deeper into his claim of being so motherfucking hurt. Because hey, how you so damn hurt, but when you in our offices and you on the phone, oh, your ass is Hercules. We don't think shit wrong with you. So yes, Mr. Ferguson, you absolutely right. We need to take another look at your case. We're gonna come back to this in a minute. So while he out here terrorizing the workers' comp people, he decided that he needed to consult with an attorney about his case. I'm not tripping because that's a smart move. It's one that he should have done at first, but okay, it's better late than never, right? But y'all know Colin ain't fucking with no white lawyers. So he called and he make an appointment with a black lady named Lauren Abramson. But he make the appointment under a fake name. Lauren said when she walked into the consultation, she took one look at this nigga and knew immediately, not today. She had somebody come in there and sit in the room with them because this nigga was off. Good girl, Lauren. Baby, trust your instincts. You done set the appointment up under this fake name, and Lauren in here talking to you under the fake name, calling you the fake name. Like, you did this for like 15 minutes before you finally tell what your real name is. Lauren went on ahead and do the hurry up and get your ass out the office routine. Sent him right on his way and then sent him one of them good old, we sorry, we can't help you letters, and moved the fuck on. But Colin didn't move on. He added Lauren's law firm to the list of all of the places he was sending letters and calling and making threats to fuck everybody up. Oh yeah. And up until this point, it's really been the envelopians that Colin wasn't fucking with, right? And now he's starting to add what he called these old Uncle Tom ass niggas to the list. So the law firm, they started locking their doors. Ain't no more just walking up in this motherfucker because everybody know that Colin ain't wrapped too tight and he like to pop up on that ass, right? He ain't pop up on them because he couldn't get in, but he made sure he called and cussed their asses out on the regular. And again, they weren't the only recipients of Colin's harassing phone calls. Like, he was calling everybody. He a real Mr. Telephone Man. Shout out to Baby New Edition. He would call the commissioner's office. He calling the governor's office. I mean, literally anybody in a government situation that he thought could be, possibly, maybe have some pull was on his goddamn list. And he complaining about everything to everybody. This motherfucker ain't happy with nothing. Like, nothing. Not even the goddamn train schedule. He say that the trains, the way that they run, that shit racist too. Nigga. I'm with you when you're right. You know what I'm saying? But come on, man. Dude, let me tell you this. Around this same time when all this calling and writing and shit is going on, we talking like April-ish 1993, Colin dips out to Cali. And I don't know. At first, I thought, you know what? Maybe he's headed to a better place. Maybe he feels like California has more to offer a black man than New York. Whatever the deal was, Colin was headed west looking for a job, and I was actually kind of rooting for him, right? Different scenery sometimes will, a different environment sometimes will do you a world of difference. And Cali is way more laid back and relaxed than New York City. So this might just be what the doctor ordered. Colin go out there and get him some sun and some sand in between his toes. And Cali got that good too. You just need to relax your mind, Craig. But I guess nobody told Colin that Cali got white folks too, just like New York do. Yeah, so he drops down in Cali and he stays at one of them old do-drop-in motels in Long Beach. And Colin, he did indeed go out and apply for jobs. But according to Colin, every time he applied for a job, they just basically laughed in his face. Y'all know Colin don't like to be taken as a joke. And now that he is in Cali, he also realizes that there is another group of people that he don't fuck with. The people of Latin descent. Yeah, so he all the way in Cali, in his feelings, because shit ain't going the way he feel like it should be going. I mean, literally, your boy thought he was gonna fill out a few applications, maybe drop a resume or two, and just fall off in a 6-figure situation that was gonna have him living on Easy Street. And when that shit didn't materialize, Colin figured out another plan. Now, I clarified that this nigga his crazy is different. He's very, very, very intelligent. And Colin, he is putting that big old brain of his to work. And at the time, we didn't even realize what he was doing, right? But he is about to use the system to work in his favor as he get ready to set some shit off in a real way. Now, we know that Colin is just visiting California, but that ain't what his paperwork say. Oh, no. He uses the address for the do-drop-in as his permanent California address, and he goes out and gets a California driver's license. Now, outside looking in, not knowing any background or anything about Colin or whatever. On the surface, this kind of just looks like Colin is about to put down roots in California. He got a driver's license. But here's the thing. If you know anything about New York, you know that they have some of the most restrictive gun laws in the land. Like, you can't just be rolling up in New York and just buy a gun. It don't work like that. Of course, you can, go get you something off the street. But, you fuck around and get caught, that's your ass with the mandatory minimums. New York does not play. But California, on the other hand, they have laws, but they aren't as strict as New York laws. They got some paperwork that you got to fill out and a little waiting period. But then once that is completed for their residents, they can purchase a gun. Well, Colin still has his room in Brooklyn. That is where he lives. But California don't know that, and they issue him this driver's license. And this piece of plastic makes him a resident of the state of California. So then what does Colin do? Well, Colin then goes to a gun store in Chino on May 9th, 1993, and buys a gun. Now, he walked in the store and paid the money for this gun, right? But he couldn't take it home with him that particular day because California had a 15-day waiting period for its residents to be able to cop that piece be still, right? And of course, on paper, Colin is a brand new resident of the state of California, and it was perfectly legal to sell him a gun. And 15 days later, on the 24th of May, he was officially the owner of a 9mm Ruger. Okay, so Shawty want to be a thug now. Okay, I see you, Colin. Now, he says the reason that he needed to get a gun was because he got jacked while he was in Cali. He needed to be safe. His safety was threatened, and the gun made him feel safer, right? And he went around to a couple of different stores in California and got him a grip of ammunition, right? Like, I'm talking a lot of ammunition, but, he's been jacked, and if this makes him feel safe, then, why not? There's no harm in this, right? Well, not too long after Colin bought his gun and bought him some ammunition, he decides that California is not his cup of tea, and he is ready to head back east. He said he don't like having to compete with immigrants and Latinos for jobs in California. Sir, ain't that the pot calling the kettle black type of shit? Cause you's a whole ass immigrant too, remember? That little green card got you acting all kind of brand new. Well, he does indeed make his way back to Brooklyn. And when he get back, he go even harder on his extremist views of the people that he don't like. And yeah, that picnic basket, them sandwiches, they're getting shorter and shorter. Like, because now Colin is talking about himself in third person. You know how touched you got to be to refer to yourself when you talking to somebody in third person? Like, imagine, this man is up here talking to you and he's like, hey man, Colin ain't going for that bullshit. Colin gonna have to show a motherfucker. Nigga, ain't you Colin? Yeah, no. Think, if I have to give you a makeup of what I see Colin, to me, he's like a 5%er mixed with some Hebrew Israelite with a sprinkle of Nat Turner for a little razzle dazzle. This nigga was on one, and them crackers was enemy number one, followed by the Asians and the Uncle Tom ass niggas. I mean, that's straight from Colin, right? That's not my words. Anyway, y'all remember how Tina found Buddhism in What's Love Got to Do With, and she was doing that chant, Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. Well, they say Colin kind of fell off into his own religious type practices. Say he started taking like 5 or 6 showers a day, and then at night he would be chanting loud as fuck, all black people kill all the white people, all black people kill all the white people, all black people kill all the white people, all black people kill all the white people. Like, that was his chant every single night, loud as fuck. The neighbors heard it in the house, outside of the house. Sir, you are losing it. And even though everybody see this shit, and when I say everybody, I mean the people who are right there, his landlord where he rents the room, the other boarders in the boarding house that are renting rooms, the niggas that he fuck with on the block a little bit, anybody that happens to have any type of interaction with Colin, they see it, they hear it, and they know this nigga is getting hella explicit. I mean, he talking hella reckless, but nobody raises the alarm because he ain't serious, right? He just talking shit. For real? Black folks don't do that. Okay. No, Colin was getting ready, and it all came to a head December 7th, 1983, the day Colin decided to show the world that this was not a drill, and he was about to show you how a motherfucker crash all the way out. Ooh, what'd he do, Nate? Colin caught a train. Huh? So what? So who? Let me tell you what happened. So Colin decided that he was going to catch the train to Long Island. But before he got on the train, he had one more phone call that he needed to make. The last phone call he made was to the Workers' Compensation Board. You see, Colin had received notice that day that following his request to have the case looked at again, the compensation board had decided that he had been grossly overpaid originally, and they wanted him to run that $26K right on back. Honey, see, you should have left that shit alone. You've been fucking with these people, demanding that they cut you another check, and instead, they decided to bring big dick energy into the room and no Vaseline that ass. They on some bitch better have my money. So after Colin get this little letter in the mail, he made one last call to the Workers' Compensation Board to tell them to kiss his entire black ass and to inform them that you can't get blood from a turnip. Colin was like, as long as I owe you, you will never be broke because that bag is gone, honey. You gonna have to get it how you live, homie. Nobody knew at the time that this would be the last phone call that Colin would make as a free man. You see, Colin went to the train station down at Penn Station. He's going to catch the Long Island Railroad. He's on the 5:33 p.m. train to Hicksville. He got on the train and went into train car number 3. He found him a seat in the back of the car and just sat down by the window and watched the scenery roll by. And so, you know, the train is making it stop. And about 35 minutes later, at around 6:10 p.m., Colin, he stands up, and then he commenced to shooting the shit out of everybody in that goddamn train car. And I'm talking calmly and methodically. It was like he was the dude that the train conductor that come around and check the tickets. Like he was walking down the aisle and row by row putting extra holes in motherfuckers. Like all of these people were either white or Asian. So picture it, New Orleans Nation. This train car has about 90 people or so in it, and we're talking grown folks that just finished a hard day at work and on their way home to decompress and see their peoples, right? And these people are now all trapped in this train car because, you know, when the train is moving, the doors are shut and you can't open them. So they didn't have nowhere to go. Man, they say this nigga was like Oprah up in that bitch. You get a bullet, and you get a bullet, and you get a bullet. Row to row, side to motherfucking side. But oh, wait. It gets worse. Now, mind you, I told you this nigga is using a 9mm Ruger, the one he got in California. Well, that magazine only holds like 15 rounds. Baby, this diabolical nigga, he emptied the first clip, paused, sat down for a second, reloaded, and then commenced to continue this walk by shooting. Like it was only after he emptied the clip a second time that 3 brave Flower Rangers decided that they was not gonna be picked off like fish in a barrel. These men, Michael O'Connor Jr., Kevin Bloom, and Mark McKenty. Oh baby, I don't know if they wasn't sure if they had some praying grandmothers or what, but they laid low, and when they saw that this nigga actually sat his black ass down to reload his pistol, baby, they rushed Colin's ass and pinned his ass to the ground. Baby, but you know what? Before I go any further, let me just pause here for a minute and say the first of many woo childs, because these white men, they showed great restraint. They didn't have a let's beat this nigga down party. I mean, they had him subdued. They could have Rodney King that ass something special, right? And it would have been justified. I mean, this motherfucker did just almost take out a whole ass train car of people. If anybody deserves a beat down, it's that motherfucker. But they didn't. And for that, they probably earned a seat in the kingdom, baby. Because my ignorant ass would have had at least try to kick this nigga in the nuts 5 or 20 times just for GP. But you know, anywho, back to the story. Even though the shooter is subdued, Colin is down, it's still a fucked up situation because, mind you, the doors still won't open. The train car is a whole ass crime scene. Blood and brain matter is everywhere, and these people are trapped because the engineer won't open the goddamn doors because word has spread that, hey, it's a shootout in train 3. Eventually, somebody pried the doors open, and baby, them folks ran out that motherfucking train like Lucifer was hot-footing it on their ass. Baby, just running and hollering, it's a man in there with a gun, they shoot, somebody help. Well, they running, they hollering, they screaming, they crying, and it just so happened that a Long Island Railroad police officer, man named Officer Andrew Roderick, he's sitting there waiting on his wife to get off this particular train. Ooh, baby, I know his heart was in his ass. Ooh, not only do he need to handle the scene, you're a police officer, right? But you also now trying to figure out, Lord Jesus, where's my wife? Oh my God, they said shoot, I ain't seen my baby. Oh my God, baby, he run in and he see that it's already 3 Flower Rangers handling the situation. So he throw some cuffs on Colin and they wait for the backup that's coming into the station on 2 wheels, baby. I mean, the cavalry got there quick, but it was too late. And Colin, he just laying there, being held down by these men that have disarmed him. Still talking shit. I mean, he is alternating between, shit, I messed up, didn't I? I deserve what I get. But then still hating on the whites because he's still talking shit. You gonna get it. Fuck you. You deserve to get it. Like, nigga, what? Now, I'm just saying, Colin, you might want to shut the fuck up because you the motherfucker that's finna get it. Just wait. When the smoke cleared New Orleans Nation, we got 6 people that were killed by bullets. 27-year-old Amy Federici, 51-year-old James Gorky, 27-year-old Mi Kyung Kim, 30-year-old Maria Teresa Tamanagan Magato, 52-year-old Dennis McCarthy, and 24-year-old Richard Nettleton, all killed by Colin's bullets on that train. In addition to those 6 people who lost their lives, 19 people were injured by bullets, and including Dennis McCarthy's son. The father and the son were on the subway together. Dennis, I think, if I'm not mistaken, was like 20, 21, some shit like that. Now, Dennis, he was on the stairway to heaven. I mean, he was on his way to go touch the hem of his garment. But you know what? It wasn't his time. I'm just saying, when it ain't your time, it ain't your time. And several of these 19 people that were injured, they are critically injured. But baby, there was some praying grandmothers on the main line to Jesus that day. They weren't talking to black Jesus, but you know what I'm saying. Jesus nevertheless. Now, 2 people were injured by the stampede to get off the goddamn train. You know, when it's a stampede, you gotta be quicker than that, or else you're gonna be part of the flow and people gonna run across your face to get the fuck out of danger. Just saying, whatever you do, stay upright, don't fall, man. But all jokes aside, like 27 people, lives will never be the same ever again. Like, their families, 6 died. I mean, the families, the ripple effect of all that, these people's lives will never be the same again. All because this ignorant ass nigga decided to take the train. And all of his victims, all of them, white or Asian. Not one melanated person in car number 3 was shot as he walked one by one, row by row, just picking folks off. Now, I don't know. This blew my mind. I don't know if he thought that maybe he would have been killed in the aftermath, because you know that's usually how this shit happened. But either way, tell me why this nigga was on his Aaliyah point of view. This motherfucker got a 4-page letter. I'm writing you a love letter tonight. And on this 4-page letter that he has in his pocket, this motherfucker spells out why he did what the fuck he did. And it was simply titled Reasons. The reasons that we're here. Not the point. I'm sorry. Reasons. This crazy touch some of my bitch said reason number 1 was because of the filthy swine that lived in his neighborhood on 14th Street. His people, the people that looked like him. He said, I hate the motherfuckers with a passion. Well, damn. Tell us how you really feel, Colin. And so then he went on to include the black lawyers and the so-called civil rights leaders that was trying to steal his car. Kind of crazy there, Colin. But apparently, his hate didn't extend to all blacks. Oh, no, baby. Tell me why this nigga said the only reason the shootout didn't happen in the city of New York. At the time, the mayor of New York was a black man named David Dinkins. And Colin, he said that he didn't want Mayor David to have to deal with none of this bullshit. So that's why he jumped on that train. I'm sure Mayor David was like, okay, whatever, nigga. Don't do me no favors, but thank you, whatever. He just had 4 pages blaming everyone, kind of like his life. Everybody was the reason why he went ham on a subway car. He had smoke for the workers' comp board. They were the reason. The white lady that sat next to him on the train, she was the reason. The cops that arrested him for going ham on that lady, they were the reason. Governor Cuomo, he part of the reason too. The lieutenant governor, the attorney general. 4 pages of blaming everybody for his fucking shortcomings. No, nigga, it's you. You the reason these people are dead. You the reason these people are hurt. Like you. They snatched that ass up and took his ass on to jail, and Colin was arraigned on December 8th of 1983. At that time, it was 4 counts of murder because 2 of the people were still hanging on. He had a gang of weapons charges, and of course, they didn't get his ass no kind of bond. You gonna sit right here until we decide we are finished with your ass. Well, Colin, after the arraignment, he gets a court-appointed attorney because he a brokey. This happens, I think, December 11th, and his first attorney is a man named Anthony Falanga. He gonna take the lead, and I can already see that this ain't gonna work because I am sure Falanga is not the name of a magical Negro. This one of them Salt Gang peoples, and y'all know how Colin feel about the 8.5 by 11s. This man is trying to do an insanity plea, and Colin was like, what the fuck is you talking about? I ain't crazy. And so he fires Falanga, the court-appointed attorney. So then he working his telephone privileges, and so then he worked it out to where this dude that he went to school with in Kingston, Jamaica would represent him. I'm talking about about fine black man, Afro pick with the fist on it black man. This man is named Colin A. Moore. I mean, they got the same first name, so it's like Colin the lawyer. He had a reputation for going after racist people in the courtroom, right? And Colin the killer, he really wanted that dude. I mean, this Colin the lawyer is like top dog law in 1993, right? And at first, Colin the lawyer, he was like, yeah, my dude, I got you. But then after spending a little bit of time with Colin the killer, Colin the lawyer was like, it's above me now. You on your own, player. He put his church finger up and exited stage left. Now, of course, since we can see that this nigga's Colin the killer, his elevator is glitchy at best. The court puts him up for a psych evaluation to make sure that he was competent enough to stand trial. This happens January of 1994. And y'all know, he could have had the IQ of a 2-month-old baby. The psychologist was going to say that he was competent enough, and that's exactly what they did. Yep, this nigga is sane. It's time to crank up the jury. And so Colin was formally indicted by a grand jury on January 19th, 1994. He was indicted on 93 counts of all kinds of foolishness and fuckery for the shit that he did on that train. And personally, I think 93 is rather low. I mean, of course, they hit him with 6 counts of murder, 19 counts of attempted murderation, 34 counts of assault, criminal possession of a weapon, depraved indifference to human life, intent to use a weapon in violation of civil rights, and intent to harass, annoy, threaten, and harm. That still don't seem like enough. Like, they should have thrown every law on the book at his ass. I'm sure he jaywalked that day. Thinking about killing a bitch, that should be a crime. Causing chaos on a train, fare evasion, littering, loitering, breathing. I mean, the 93 counts that they did throw at him, though, it was gonna give him like anywhere between 175 and 400 years to do. So, I mean, I guess, but it still don't seem long enough. I'm just saying. But y'all know it take a little minute to actually get to court after you get through criminaling. And while Colin was waiting on his turn to get in front of a jury, ooh, baby, please understand that they was whooping that ass on a regular up in jail. Baby, Colin, that nigga stayed in the infirmary. Shit. And he stayed talking about how the guards was fucking with him. But sir, what did you expect? It ain't no fun when the rabbit got a gun, right? You targeted whites, and now the whites is targeting you. Even Stevie Wonder would have seen that shit coming. You clearly didn't think this thing through. So after the last attorney two-stepped off into the sunset, he got a couple of Jewish lawyers that wanted to represent him free of charge. William Kunstler and Ron Kuby. These two men had made a living off of representing the scum of the earth that nobody else wanted to touch. And so Colin was right down their alley, right? He's radioactive. And they tried. They really did try to come up with a slick-ass defense. And, you know, it was crazy. Had nobody ever heard of it before. But what they put on, they said that they were going to put on a black rage defense. Now, nay, what? What the fuck is black rage, nay? Well, let me tell you. They said that Colin suffered from black rage, which made him temporarily insane, and it was caused by racial prejudice. And as such, Colin couldn't be held responsible for the shit he did. Nigga, or jigger, you know, Jew, nigga, jigger, whatever. Yeah, they tried to say that shit. They said it was kind of like a battered woman's defense. You get tired of getting your ass beat and you snap. Well, Colin was getting beat down by racism and he snapped. I know. I wasn't the one who came up with the shit. I'm just reporting the news. Just telling you what they told me. So, and I don't know. The shit might have worked, but we will never know because Colin, oh, he wasn't finna cooperate with two Jewish lawyers. They were not magical Negroes. And so he fired their ass too. I mean, Colin was like, I'm not crazy. And I don't suffer from black rage. And he tells the judge, these Jews is trying to fuck me over. And this is where it goes completely off the rails. Because Colin was like, you know what? Fuck all y'all racist motherfuckers. I'm gonna be my own goddamn attorney. And that's what the fuck he did. Now, it's ready to go to trial. And to me, this is where it gets interesting because Colin's case, it might have been the trial of the century, at least the trial of the year, but it was overshadowed by something that just was so much bigger and just took up all of the oxygen in the room. Y'all remember OJ? Right. OJ, we don't even know no other criminal cases that were going on when the OJ trial was going on, right? So when Colin was about to go on trial, OJ was on trial too. Man, I was mesmerized by OJ's case. That was the goddamn trial of the century. Everybody was on OJ's case, right? But I encourage you to take a dive into Court TV because they did cover the entire trial for Colin Ferguson. And ooh, honey, treat yourself because this is some bullshit, but it's entertaining than a motherfucker. His trial started in February of 95, and the prosecutor, Gregory Peck, oh baby, he came out swinging. He had the gun, he had the bullets out the bodies of all the motherfuckers who got shot, matched to the gun. He had buku eyewitnesses that testified and pointed Colin's good shooting ass out as the man that popped the cap in their ass. We talking all 19 of the survivors, one by one. They got on the stand, pointed this nigga out. But Colin up here cross-examining all of these witnesses, all of these survivors, and basically all he did was make these people repeat themselves and just aggravate the fuck out of them because, I mean, the person who tried to kill them, the person who hurt them is standing in their face asking them dumbass questions. Kudos to all of the victims for not knocking the shit out this nigga. But y'all know Black Jesus is still working on me. Cause baby, I could not be that close to the motherfucker that tried to send me to the upper room and not try to square up on that ass. I'm just saying. So when it was Colin's time to put on his defense, he called one witness to the stand, and it was a homicide detective. And Colin tried to get this homicide detective to say that all of this shit was just a conspiracy by the police department. Obviously the cop did no such thing. And then Colin, he wanted to call a second witness, and this second man was going to testify that the government had put a computer chip in Colin's brain, and then they forced him to commit that mass murder on the train. But Judge Donald Belfire, he was like, nope, not today. We're not gonna even let you play in our face like that. Nope. Who didn't take the stand? Who did not put one to the sky? That motherfucking Colin Ferguson. Again, this nigga is not crazy. So this man, you know, even though he didn't testify or get up on the stand, I mean, he still had to do opening and closing arguments, right? And so his whole thing was just, I'm gonna just put as much BS on y'all as I possibly can. So one of the points that he put out there was that y'all are charging me with 93 counts in 1993, and that's bullshit because if this was 1925, it would only be 25 counts. So you basically overcharging me, or you basically overcharging Colin because, you know, he liked to talk about himself in the third person. Then he was like, yeah, Colin was on the train, but Colin was asleep. Somebody took Colin's gun and shot the shit out of everybody. Sir, Colin say, everybody that was on that train is some lying motherfuckers because he ain't did shit. It was a conspiracy to destroy his life. Colin said that one of the men that subdued him was actually the shooter. And if it wasn't that white man, it was another dude named Colin Ferguson, who was not the same dude as Colin Ferguson who's standing up in front of y'all. It's somebody else. We just so happen to have the same name. Sir, stop it. But he ain't through. He was like, that Colin did it, not me. And then he pointed at one of the survivors, this man named, y'all remember when Nino threw Kareem Akbar under the bus as the head of Cash Money Brothers when he was on the stand? Well, that's kind of what Colin did too. He pointed out one of the surviving victors, one of the 19 people who survived, this man named Robert Gugliano. And he was like, he is the man who actually did the shooting. Sir, now y'all know you lying. Man, no, child, not me. That's what Colin said everybody else was doing. In his closing statement, like, he really was like, are these people fabricating lies? Are there people that are being told to say things that are not accurate? The prosecution is manufacturing identifications. And again, he's talking about himself in third person. He's telling the jury to vindicate Mr. Ferguson. Do not destroy his life any more than it already has been destroyed. He has suffered enough. Nigga, you is crazy, right? And that's just what the jury thought, 200, because on February 17th, 1995, they found that ass guilty on all counts. And when it was all said and done, Colin got 315 years and 8 months to do in prison. Colin is eligible for parole on August 6, 2309. Colin would be 351 years old. As of today, Colin is inmate 95A1838 at the Mid-State Correctional Institute in Marcy, New York, and he is 67 years old, far shy of the 351 that he gonna be. And that new ordination is the story of Colin Ferguson, the Long Island Railroad killer. Ooh, child. That was a whole lot of. I mean, the fuckery of it all, the negacity. This was 1993. We talking 32 years ago when this happened. And it was shocking, right? Black people didn't do this kind of shit, but we did because Colin did it. He was one of the first to do it big like that. But he wasn't the last. I mean, I kind of feel like he's like the godfather of mass shootings. But here's the thing. If you look on the Wikipedia page for the deadliest shootings in the U.S., Colin ain't even on the list. They skip right over his good 25 people shooting ass. That's crazy. I mean, when I say they downplay us and they whitewash us or they just ignore our shit, this is what I'm talking about. He ain't even on the list for the Mount Olympus of mass murderers in the United States. I mean, he put a lot of lead in a lot of people and we didn't even know his name. I was alive in 1993. I vividly remember the OJ trial. I have no recollection of the Long Island Railroad shooting. And it's a goddamn shame. But you know what, y'all? This case, while vintage, it still, for me, has so much bearing on what's happening today. Colin was fixated on race wars in the early 1990s. And that shit is still going on today. And while I don't have any words for what happened to Charlie Kirk, I will say that in 2025, anybody can get it. Literally. Somebody might not like you for the color of your skin or your political affiliation or the company you get your paycheck from, or just because you was on the train with them on the day they felt like letting off some steam. Guns and random bullets are so commonplace in our lives now that we are just really desensitized to seeing people die on camera. I mean, it's people dying that ain't never died before. And it's people killing that ain't never killed before. Young, old, black, white, Republican, Libertarian, Democrat, and everything in between. And the myth that black people don't do mass shootings is crazy. And you know, if black people don't do it, you know Jamaicans for sure don't do no shit like this. But that myth has totally been blown to smithereens, right? Because Colin was Jamaican, Colin was black, and Colin was a stone cold killer who jumped off the porch one time and did it real fucking big. And he still got less than he deserved because New York didn't have a death penalty to impose on him. But I don't know, maybe he got a fate worse than death. You know, maybe every day some Aryan nation hitter is fucking his ass up and he gotta stay looking over his shoulder. All because he decided to be judge, jury, and executioner one day on the train. I mean, it's so bad now, we ain't even got thoughts and prayers no more. I mean, fresh out. But the killings, they just keep coming. And the bullets, they just keep flying. And the crazies, they every fucking where. Like crazy people, out of all-time high. People who are on the edge, all-time high. People who are hanging on by a hair follicle, all-time high. And you don't know who they are. You can't see it. They do such a good job of masking it. And we are so caught up in our daily lives. All the shit we got to do. All the things we got to stay on top of. All the shit we trying to do. It's impossible to see everything every day, every time. I know it, just like y'all do. I get it. I zone out, man. Sometimes I got shit on my mind. I got shit I got to do. But we gotta be careful, y'all. We got to be mindful. Man, stay ready. That's the phrase of the day, the hour, the year, because people are losing their shit and they are taking innocent people and not so innocent people out the motherfucking game. Humans are being disconnected, to me, at an alarming rate. And this ain't no new shit. It's just more visible now because of social media and the like. But just be careful, y'all, because people are losing it. Like at the workplace, at the park, at the movies, after dark. I mean, you name it, it can go down. So be be careful because I need y'all here with me, okay? Let's talk about it. Y'all know how to get at your girl. Melanin Mayhem Podcast on the social sites and Melanin Mayhem PC on X. If email is more your jam, you can hit me up at melaninmayhempodcast@gmail.com. This week's New One Nation shout out goes to V for Hope, who left a review on Apple titled Binging All Episodes. Oh my God, I listen while I'm working my overnight shift and you truly keep me entertained and the stories are crazy. But I tell you, this has made me move differently in the world. Girl, keep up the good work and I will continue listening. Ooh, thank you V for Hope. I appreciate you so much for getting your binge on. Girl, that's tea, that's life. Love it. And I am super duper proud that I got you moving differently out here in these Melanin Mayhem streets. Man, let me tell you something. That is the highest compliment that you can give me because I want y'all safe. Like, no better. I want you prepared. I want you to keep listening. And I want you to tell all your friends and your family about your new favorite podcast. Ooh, with your favorite country girl. Thank you for listening, V for Hope. And be blessed and highly favored too, boo. All right, before we ride off into the sunset, y'all, thank y'all again for all of the love for my birthday and just for rocking with the country girl like that. Now look, y'all got a nice long episode today, so that makes up for all the shortness of the last few weeks, right? I told y'all I was here, but I was gone at the same damn time. All right, like right now I'm passing an hour 30, so I really got to get my butt in the lab and chop this thing up a little bit. But before I go, don't forget, we in the home stretch of the BTCC for the live tickets. I really hope to see your beautiful faces at the live show. Oh, and one last thing. For merch orders, anything that came in from, I think, the 12th through the 22nd, I am working on those orders. Now, remember, I've been gone for a week. Thank you for your patience, but I will get those out this week. Other than that, I love y'all so much. So, y'all, do me a favor and stay safe, stay vigilant, and above all else, remember, if you stay ready, you ain't gotta get ready. It's one love, New One Nation, and the country girl is out of here.
Woo-wee, Nana, you did that.